welcome along to this week's Cop the Week. And as always, we've upped the handsome factor by, I don't know how many, but we've got Mr. Look at those twinkling eyes, James, of Steve's. Look at them, piercing blue eyes, mate.
I thought you were talking about man for a second, but nah, you're right, Steve. It has got amazing bicycle blues, so fair play to you, mate.
He reminds me of a Siberian husky with those real piercing blue eyes.
I'm not having this. Steve, we can't be having Steve, we can't be having Craig giving us compliments at the start of the show. Let's just give him the homage that he deserves for a second, right? All hail Lord Craig. All this business. That chat, you better be doing it as well. All yous watching at home, make sure that you're doing this as well because he deserves it. Lord Craig, business
of greatness.
You think we're messing?
This
Not
is
messing, ladies and gentlemen. There you go, on the screen right there now. The Principality of Sealand have finally acknowledged me for the greatness that I have, and have bestowed the title of Lord upon me. And,
Craig, just tell me about the Principality of Sealand.
Oh, it's a fine principality, Steve. It was once a radio tower 7 miles off the coast of the UK as part of one of the world wars, and somebody bought it and then had the great idea to turn it into a principality, fought a legal battle with the UK government, finally got it acknowledged in 1967. And there you go. They have bestowed upon me.
I was asking that question thinking that you would know nothing about the Principality of Sealand, but I'm actually impressed, mate. That is, yeah.
I'm actually considering, Steve, making my house the ambassador's residence in Ireland for the great Principality of Sealand.
Yeah, it's one of the lesser known principalities in the world.
It's not up there with Monaco. Let's put it that way.
I'll be 100% honest, lads. I have zero clue what any of that meant, but like Lord Craig, my G.
It basically meant that I paid a few quid, mate, for some pony title that was bestowed upon me. Like, that's basically
still counts.
There you go. Do you know what else, lads? Look, we've loads to talk about. I mean, the week's absolutely flown by, but I haven't introduced the hairiest member of the panel, the youngest member, the member that me and Steve are basically bringing James on to try and take his blood and inject it into ourselves to get that youthful exuberance. Mr. James Redmond, how are you, sir?
Marvellous, lads. I couldn't be better. Do you know what I've noticed today? It's still patchy, yeah, but like I'm getting more stubble by the day. So the beard could be a possibility, boys. It could be. It's still
by 2024, 2025.
Yeah, we're still years away. Yeah. It's like Kate Gordon's good in it, but like he's not going to be in the first team yet. It's one of them things because like we've just got that many good players. I'm in that situation. My beard is the Kate Gordon of beards, and it's not even a beard yet. But it's got room for improvement.
My beard's the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer of beards.
Mate, it's not that bad. At least you got hair.
Yeah.
Haven't you? It's not that bad.
Long live the beard. I love the comment there straight away. We love it. Love it, James. Lads, look, difficult trip tomorrow night to start out with. And a bit of team news today, Steve, from the gaffer. No Curtis Jones. You know, that toy was broken away on international duty. No, none of your mate, Thiago Alcantara, not available either. So surely, mate, it's looking like Thiago, or excuse me, Keita in the midfield with Hendo. And,
I mean, there's a pretty decent case for going the same again, isn't there? I mean, the weekend was so good. You know, there's a pretty good case for going the same again.
It wasn't bad, Steve. It wasn't bad.
It was pretty decent, wasn't it? It was. You know what? It was back to, you know, a couple of years ago when we just went into every game thinking we were just going to completely boss it and win it easily, and it was just, you know, pretty standard, like Leeds away, like a couple of the games this season, just a beautiful watch, wasn't it? There was never even a second's doubt in anybody watching's mind of what the result was going to be. It was just a case of whether it was going to be 4, 5, 6 or 7-0. You know, that was the only question.
Let's be honest, we were all rooting for Jack, weren't we? We were all rooting for a 6-0 at one point.
6-0, yeah. I mean, it could have been, you know, really easily could have been, couldn't it? It could have been 6, 7, 8, you know, whatever they fancied at one point. But yeah, tomorrow night's going to be, I suspect, a bit different. It's they're just a nasty team to play against, aren't they, Atletico? You know, Klopp said it today, I think, didn't he? You know, not a big fan of their style. But I think he was kind of saying it in a sort of, as he does, a sort of complimentary way. You know, because they have a very particular style. They're nasty. They work hard. They're quite English in a way, aren't they? You defend well, work hard.
Proper shithouses, and I mean that in the most respectful way.
Yeah, definitely.
As a compliment.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean they're just nasty to play against, and I think we're going to have to be at our very best. But yeah, I reckon there's not really much need to change it. I suspect he probably will, given the game that, you know, is coming after it He'll probably make 2 or 3 changes. But yeah, I mean, same again. Let's go again.
James, that young Mohamed Salah fella's all right, isn't he?
He's sound, lads. Do you know what? He's just sound. Still can get better. Who knows with the way he's going at the moment? No, listen, if he's on form, and I've said this for every game, but, you know, he literally basically got us a point against Man City. Let's be dead honest with ourselves. He was a big part of 3 goals against Watford. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if he's on form, we win this game, because I understand that Atletico Madrid, I like to compare them to as the Chelsea of La Liga. Now, I know that might not make, but they are defensive first. They want to make sure that they're locked up at the back, and with the quality they've got up front, like Chelsea with Lukaku, they want to capitalise on the break. You know, you've got to take into the depth that they've got up front with Griezmann, Suarez, João Felix, Correa, and all them combined, even though they're all good individuals, they haven't had the most amazing season. But then if you go beyond there, you've got Thomas Lemar. The midfield's looking very good. I think they've got someone called, is it Marcus Llorente or something? I don't want to get it confused.
No, Marcus
Llorente. He's the one who was at Real Madrid, wasn't he?
Yes, and he's top class. He's a very, very good player. Yeah. So he's going to be a problem for us. That being said, I think we're going to monopolise possession. I think we're going to control the game, and I think we're going to have the more chances. Listen, we're the most lethal team. I don't know if you saw the stat. I'll see if I can try and get it up so I don't get it wrong. That being said, I don't know if you saw the stat with Mo Salah, Bobby and Mane's records over the seasons, and basically how this season they've outscored, like everyone's saying, Mane, Bobby and Salah should be breaking apart. Well, get on this for those who think that it should be breaking apart. Listen, this isn't no friggin' chocolate bar that you break apart. This is one of the best front threes that has ever graced the Premier League. Get on this. 17-18, 13 goals in 2,225 minutes. 2008, and this is to this point. So this point of the season. So they're all like around similar times. 18-19, 10 goals. 19-20, 13 goals. 20-21, 12 goals. And then 21-22, 22 goals.
Wow.
Just let me tell you, the second highest there is 13, and we're already on 22. 9 more goals than what we... It's a joke. It's
been almost a perfect storm, hasn't it, lads, for the gaffer? Because we had a little injury to Diogo Jota. Bobby comes in, and he only goes and bites himself a hat-trick, Steve. Not bad for a number 9 who can't score, mate.
Mate, they were the sort of goals that you want him getting to, weren't they? Because he doesn't... You know, he gets criticised for his goal scoring. Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer, those kind of guys made a career out of those 5-yard tap-ins. You know, he was in the right place, right time, every single time. I've said it a million times on it. He's just sensational. Anybody writing him off at his age with the brain he's got is baffles me a little bit. And I think he. Bringing in Jota's, good because it's given him a little bit of fire as well. He knows he isn't going to get that place automatically. It's, lit a fire underneath him a little bit, and he comes in and takes his chance. And, you'd be pretty harsh to drop him after that, wouldn't you? So I suspect he'll go same again, especially given that Jota had his little injury as well. So, yeah, I mean, same again. And those stats are amazing. Those stats are amazing. Like, not even
Steve,
close, is it? Not
Steve,
even close.
you like stats, don't you, Steve?
I do like stats, mate. I do like stats.
Do you want more for me? Do you want me to give you another stat?
Who would have thought James Redmond would be the stato of this bunch? I love it.
Statman Hammers right there, boys. So basically, Mane's got 6 goals. Firmino's got 6 goals. Salah's got 10 goals, which therefore means, quick maths, 22 goals between the 3 of them. If you want to include Diogo Jota in the mix, that's 25 goals. Anyway, when you compare that to the front 4 of Atletico Madrid, then you've got João Felix, Correa, Suarez and Griezmann. Griezmann's got 1. Suarez has got 6. Bear in mind, Bobby and Mane have also got that amount. Felix has got none, and Correa has got 3. That's about 11 goals, 10 goals.
Hey, I saw a stat today as well. I saw it was on Twitter, I think it was. And it said that Bobby Firmino's got a goal every 39.5 minutes this season or something. He's on it.
He's on the pitch. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, when he's on the pitch, he's on it, isn't he? And this is what we were saying last week. You write these guys off at your peril because they are that good, and they are that these guys are elite level performers. And even someone like Sadio Mane has been getting a bunch of criticism, hasn't he? And these guys are elite. They are proper world-class players.
I feel like a teacher here. Yes, James.
Well, you are Lord Craig. You are Lord Craig. So, right, I want to propose a possibility of something that may have happened, right?
I might be, Steve. I won't lie.
No, Steve. I will get you interested. So, Bobby Firmino. Are you interested now, Steve?
I'm interested.
Right, Bobby Firmino, the man, the myth, the legend, that is the sexy Brazilian that possesses our pitch, and as one of the greatest songs of all time, people said he was finished. Well, how about this notion? How about if Bobby sat back and thought, you know what? I am a number 9, even though like my role is a false number 9, and that means that I've got to be a little bit deeper. Let me just see what it's like with him in the box just a little bit more. And if you look at Porto, 2 goals, and they were 2 goal poaching goals. Watford, 3 goals, 3 goal poaching goals. They were all tap-ins. Do you think he's maybe, and maybe I'm only going off very small evidence of 2 games, but do you think he's maybe now gone from this more creative player to more of a goal poacher when you see the likes of Salah getting better with creativity? Because I saw Salah as the creator against Watford and Bobby as a goal scorer. That was like as an actual.
I think it's a pretty.
I don't know if you would.
I think it's a pretty good shout. I wonder if it's more than anything. I wonder if, you know, the stick he's got. I'm not saying he's like responding directly to the stick he's got, but a lot of people, you know, when he's not scoring, they beat him with that stick, don't they? They say your number 9's got to score you 20 goals a season or 15 goals a season, whatever. And you know, he wouldn't be human, would he, if he didn't see that and feel that and think maybe, especially, yeah, like you say, given, you know, he's 30, 31, you know, maybe he can start developing his game a little bit to be in the box a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, you've seen this, you know, bright new thing, this new toy that everyone loves, you know, Diogo Jota, and Jota is a bit. He operates a bit more in the box, doesn't he? Like he's a little bit more of a traditional forward. Box. Yeah, I mean, still.
I tell you what, though, Steve, you don't score that hat-trick unless you've got goal-scoring instincts against Watford. For sure. Every single one of them, as you said, was a Gary Lineker-esque, Harry Kane-esque. You know, in there following in. You know, if any sniff around the 6-yard box, Bobby's there, and you got. As I said, I don't think there's a link today I wanted to bring up. The reason that we're talking about Bobby, there was another report today, and look, it happens every time we're about to play a Spanish side. It does my head in, but AC Milan and Bayern Munich apparently looking to bring in Bobby Firmino.
Bullshit. Jurgen Klopp will not allow him to leave, boys. He will not allow him to leave in any walk of life. I know. Do you know what? Do you know this notion that one of them could be leaving? I don't know. They're getting boss again. Maybe I'm jumping on a train. Maybe I am. I understand, man. He's just had a bad season. But Steve, come on, lad. You share my excitement.
Mate, amazing. I said this last week, didn't I? I said this last week. There's absolutely no need to sell any of them, and I think Firmino, if anything, he's the one where the legs don't matter. You know, he's still got the brain. Legs, you know, if he loses a yard of pace, he never really had a yard of pace to start with. He'll still have the same intensity. You know, he'll still be able to work just as hard. You know, until he gets to 36, 37, then it'll drop off a little bit. But it's his brain, isn't it? He doesn't press by charging all over the pitch. His intensity doesn't come from, you know, running 100 yards everywhere. His intensity comes, and his pressing comes from his knowledge and his intelligence. He knows where to be. He knows when to go, when to drop off. You know, I think he's a phenomenal player. And, you know, but he's easy to criticise, isn't he? Because when he's not playing well, he doesn't score goals, and then it's really easy to criticise him. But,
Let me run this on his numbers. Let me run this up the flagpole, gents, and see if anyone salutes. So tomorrow, Atleti, Sunday, United. Now, I'm trying to look at this with my manager's hat on and, you know, trying to look at rotating the squad and stuff. I think, and again, it's the title of the stream, so I'd love to get your thoughts on it. I would prioritise Sunday infinitely more than this game tomorrow, because for me, we have a little bit of wiggle room here, James, in the Champions League, 6 points from 6, whereas Sunday, we can't afford to let Chelsea or Manchester City start to open up any type of a gap on us. So I'd be putting all my eggs in the United basket, mate, if I'm being bluntly honest with you for Sunday.
Well, I want to bounce a question back. What would your starting... I mean, obviously, I'm sure you're going to be doing a preview, or you've done a preview, I'm not too sure. But, like, do you know the starting 11 that you would go with? How many changes are you looking on making? Because if I'm going with my starting 11, I'm not going to go through each position, but just the changes that I'd make, I'd probably change... This is going to sound surprising to quite a few people. Obviously, Alisson and Fabinho will come back in...
5 with Alisson.
So, yes, substitutions, do you mean?
No, I'd be going Alisson. This is just what I think Klopp might do. Alisson, Trent, Tsimikas, Ibrahim Konate, Joe Gomez, Fabinho, Henderson, Keita, Bobby up top, Mane and Salah. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see Divock given a run either, but I think we're at a level now where, look, Van Dijk and Matip can't afford to play 3 games a week. They just can't.
No, especially Matip.
At least one, I think, has to be changed. And Robbo's played 2 games international break, played a great game against Watford. Again, the whole point of having Tsimikas there and at the level where he's able to come in is let's utilise the guy. So
I absolutely agree. That's what I would have. That was my answer. That's what I wanted to know. So yeah, if that's what you mean by changes, just to now answer your question, then yeah, absolutely, I'd make Manchester United the priority. Get not Fabinho. Get Robertson back in for that game. Get other players back in. Otherwise, especially if we're winning, like it's going to be hard to be winning comfortable against Atletico Madrid. But if we're winning comfortable in the 60th minute, 70th minute, 3-0, then yeah, let's take off a few of our big boys as well and get that Manchester United game as the number 1 concern, because you do not want to be losing to Manchester United out of this shit.
Couldn't agree more. Steve, what about you? Would you prioritise Sunday?
I don't like the idea of prioritising things. I like the idea of planning ahead a little bit. I like the idea of thinking ahead and thinking about managing players. I don't like the idea of prioritising.
And Heke just equalised for Palace.
Ooh! I'm getting that game on.
I don't like the idea of you know, he would never think about prioritising, but you do manage it, don't you? So yeah, I agree.
Sorry, boys.
I agree. Matip won't play. There's a pretty good case for, Tsimikas. Fabinho will obviously come back in. Probably Milner will drop out. I'd imagine that's maybe a 3. Gomez or Konate for Matip, Alisson. Yeah, so 4 changes maybe. But I mean, look, when these guys are winning, they're flying, aren't they? And I think you've got to manage it a little bit more when they're not winning, because that's when your tiredness comes in. And when they're winning, they're just, you want to keep it up, don't you? Winning breeds winning, and I wouldn't be changing.
Would
you said
take a draw tomorrow, Steve, against Atleti if it was on offer
fine.
right now?
Yeah. I mean, near enough. A draw away in Europe is almost always a half decent result, isn't it? Unless you're playing, Porto or someone terrible. But yeah, a draw away in Champions League is almost. You win your home games, don't lose your away games, and you're sorted, aren't you? Yeah, that's it. And I think. Like you just said, the leeway we've got from winning those first 2, particularly, so comfortably against, Porto, but then Milan as well. Yeah, a few changes, but like I said, I don't like the notion of prioritising. I think. Yeah,
I probably could have worded that better, to be honest with you. I was thinking, I was again trying to put my manager hat on and thinking, right, well, January, Christmas time going to be really hectic. Another international break next month. So I'm sure Klopp and the sports science boys are probably looking at this and going, how can we start to utilise the squad? And look, I understand changing your 2 centre backs it's a big deal. But I just think, as we've said, we've started off well in the Champions League. Getting that win away from home against Porto, albeit expected, was still a good result in Europe. And you'd expect to do the business at home. So I think if we can get 4 points in these games against Atleti, I'd be all right with that.
Oh, it's job done, mate. I understand why you're done then.
Yeah, I understand why you asked the question though, Craig, because at the end of the day, we need only 3 more points in a draw. You're probably looking on us going through, and Manchester United, that's the biggest game of the season. Even though City's harder, Chelsea's harder. If we get to a Champions League final, that's a bigger game. So far, United's the biggest game of the season because they're still there and thereabouts. We need to build momentum, and it's our biggest rivalry. So I still understand why you're asked, should we prioritise that game? Because not even just fitness, but the stakes of the game's huge.
Here's a few fixture changes, by the way, for people who may not have heard about them already. Move for TV, of course, the Everton game, which, by the way, am I imagining this, lads, or is every single time we play Everton now on Amazon Prime?
Yeah, there and thereabouts.
For the 1st of December, Wednesday, 8:15 p.m. kickoff. Then Newcastle at home, the richest club in the world. Thursday, 16th of December, 8 p.m. Spurs away. Sunday, 19th, 4:30. Leeds at home. Sunday, December 26th, Boxing Day, or Stevenson's Day, it's known here in Ireland. 12:30 p.m. on BT. Amazon, again, for the Leicester game. the 28th, Tuesday 28th, 8 p.m. And finally Chelsea, Sunday game, January the 2nd, 4:30 p.m. I'm looking at them. The only one that kind of worries me is Leeds, but it's at home. I mean, who the fuck wants to go to a 12:30 game on Boxing Day? Let's be honest, lads. I mean, is it a
home?
In the horrors. It's at home against Leeds, but you'd be in the horrors for that. Let's be honest. After Christmas Day,
I'm on it. I do hear you, but like the way my routine goes, that actually suits me because that means that I'm going to be able to actually go home, edit me vlog, put it up, and then go out and have a bevy on the Boxing Day after what is hopefully going to be a Liverpool win. So I'll take that.
It's a good game. I always enjoy the games against Leeds. But interesting, Steve, a Merseyside derby away at Everton Wednesday, December the 1st. There should be one hell of an atmosphere at that one.
Oh, it'd be good to have fans back at that one more than any game, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm hopefully prove that the one last season was just a complete and utter aberration in every way, shape, and form. Because we all know that it was, don't we? It's, it was a bit of a disaster, but then the whole season was a disaster. Yeah, I like Christmas games. Wasn't it? Was it in December we played them when Salah scored that absolute worldie? I remember it being snowing. The pitch was all white, wasn't it?
Yeah.
December
Didn't that get the Puskas goal or something?
Yeah. Or early January when we played that
when
game.
He sat down. Who did they buy? Who was that fella right back who played for Southampton?
Cuco Martina.
Yeah, Martina. Put him on his ass, mate. It's the season. Love and understanding.
Christmas.
Everton.
Hey, what we thinking?
Mane scored a late goal as well in one of those games.
Scoring all around. Yeah. Nah, Mane's boss, lad. Mane's back. Mane's fully back, bro.
What a finish! What a finish!
But this is what I'm saying. Don't give him time to think, and he's boss.
Yeah.
He's boss, lads. It's when he's like got a chance to think about it. I know we also missed like quite not an open sitter, but he missed a big chance against Watford. But I thought that was still a little bit more awkward than what it may perceive.
That was on his left peg as well, wasn't it?
It was one of them shots. Defo.
That pass, Steve, was like it was Stevie G-esque, wasn't it, from Salah?
We've got 22 minutes in without talking about his goal, though. I mean, the pass was amazing, but Was it
better than the Man City one or not?
No, I don't think so because of the situation of the Man City one. The situation and the quality of the defense.
A little pause though before he drags it back again. Just
there was a screen grab. There's a screen grab that people were putting up, weren't there? Like when he just had about 6 men all around him and his foot was on the ball. Like someone had paused it, saying, "How on earth?" Like 3 seconds later, as he scored from this situation,
he done this mad little. Like, do you know, like the way a DJ goes, chicka, chicka, chicka? He done that, but with his feet. Do you know what I mean? And it was like, I'm thinking to myself, how?
A little bit of a Salah remix.
And then the commentator's done a great job. It was like, surely he's not going to do it again. Oh, he does it again. Like, that was perfect.
That was Peter Drury, wasn't it? So
I
the commentator on BT was Darren Fletcher, and he
smashed it.
Fletcher did a good job. But then you listen to Peter Drury, one of the old, beautiful, amazing commentary voices,
proper,
who just knows how to hit that crescendo. That
loves the game, lads. Loves the game.
Properly loves it. Yeah, and that was the great thing, wasn't it? When they started going on Prime last year, and he started getting like a Peter Drury and John Champion and these legends of the game. Ali McCoist on the.
You need Clive Tisdale back as well,
or Tilsley.
Is that his name?
Yeah. Clive Tilsley.
Yeah.
So wasn't it close? No, but I think the City. I'd take the City one just because of the situation in the game and the quality of the defenders he was dealing with. Let's face it, Watford defenders
and he scored off his
so
right foot.
Yeah. Well, that actually helped him, didn't it? Because you could see, like, it was Cathcart, wasn't it, who slid in to stop that right foot shot because he knew what he'd done the previous week, and he just chopped it back on his left.
Ben Foster had Salah captain.
Yeah.
Then was straight over to him with the GoPro afterwards.
If I'm a Watford fan, even though I thought Ben Foster actually has a great game, he made some world class saves. I'm still looking at that. I'm thinking, wait, what?
I was laughing. My son came running over. He's like, "What are you laughing at, Dad?" I was like, "He's just done it again."
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm throwing digs in that dressing room if he's my goalkeeper. I love the lad. I love Ben Foster. I love everything he does. I love his content. He's brilliant. But if I'm after getting a hiding 5-0 and my goalkeeper is after doing that in the dressing room, I'm not going to be a happy camper.
He's a good lad, I think, Ben Foster. But Watford were absolute shambles, weren't they? None of that new manager bounce, nothing like that. They were disorganised from minute one. They didn't even for a second have a go at doing what Brentford had done, getting the crowd up a little bit, getting after us, a little bit of closing down. They just weren't interested. By like 55, 60 minutes, they genuinely weren't interested, were they? Like, they'd just given up the ghost. Danny Rose just dangling a little leg.
He's going to be in therapy for a long time. Salah absolutely.
He just got absolutely melted time after time after time, I mean,
he's never had a good time against Salah, and he does.
Well, I mean, which left back does? He's just on it, isn't he? I mean, if you were a left back at the moment, you'd be asking to sit this one out, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I have to say as well, I was really happy for young Nico Williams to get that assist at the end. That was a proper bombing forward fullback assist. That was little cut inside, just plays it right across and beautifully timed. And I tell you what, Bobby made that finish look easier than it should have been.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it came at him with quite a pace, to be honest. And I do feel a little bit bad though for Watford with was it Bobby's first goal, the one that Cathcart put the leg out for and Foster spilled it.
Yeah, because Cathcart put a bit too much on the tackle, didn't he?
It should have been offside. I know the rules say it. I know the rules. It was correctly applied, but to me, man, how can you say that Salah wasn't interfering with play where Cathcart wouldn't have gone near it if Salah wasn't behind him? I do feel for Watford fans on that.
I really do. But when the rules are the rules, it's just like one of them things where I just take it as it is. Like that's what I was thinking. I was like, that's surely not offside because he never actually ended up touching the ball, and that's the rule at the moment, rightly or wrongly. We've
seen it with Mbappe's goal in the Nations League as well. Similar thing.
Yeah, but I know it's the rule, but it's just nonsense, isn't it? I mean, the defender can't do anything other than do what he's done. Like he can't stop in the hope that Salah's going to be offside, can he?
It's a good point.
There's absolutely nothing the defender can do other than doing what he's done, and he's only done that because he knows that Mo Salah's behind him. So it just has to be offside. I don't care. Like it just has to be. Like the rule is just.
What are they
ridiculous.
feeding Mendy at Chelsea, by the way? Because my God, what a performance! What a performance against Brentford.
Yeah.
I mean, first off, I want to give credit to Brentford because I think the point that I feel like a lot of us would have came to the conclusion with after we played them is that they're going to give a lot of big teams a fat nosebleed this season, and they gave Chelsea a horrid time in them final 20 minutes especially. Got chance after chance after chance. Mendy was busy, and at the end of the day, I just think to myself, he is a top-class goalkeeper. Whether he's a world-class goalkeeper, I feel like only time will tell that, but with the form that he's in, if he is able to maintain it for another season, I don't see why not. And I only say another season because... Yeah, 100%. And
a bit of scouting, because who'd really heard of it? We all knew who Alisson was. We all knew who Edison was. We all knew who De Gea was years ago when they bought him, but I'd never heard of him. He's not a big money
goalkeeper, is he? Not a big.
No, I'd never heard of him. But I mean, fair play to the scouting team. They got out and they've obviously, found a really good one for.
And that was like
16 million, 17 million.
Yeah.
It didn't cost much, did he?
He was last minute as well, if you remember correctly, because they were gonna. Well, he had an issue obviously because they didn't want Kepa, to be the first choice goalkeeper, and then I believe they got him just on the cheap because they'd already bought big players. I think they already bought Werner, Havertz, these type of big signings, so they couldn't splash out much on a goalkeeper. Turned out to still be the right decision.
Yeah, it's he's a fine goalkeeper, I have to say. He really has done a great job since coming in. But one thing that went a little bit noticed in that game that, look, it might sound a bit like sour grapes to me, but it wasn't included on Ref Watch today, was that I think there was a Stonewall penalty that they were done out of because of an incorrect offside flag. I don't know if you guys noticed this in the game, but Ivan Toney was dragged back. It was flagged for offside. Should have been a Stonewall penalty for Brentford. But, it is what it is, and we move on. But, yeah, I agree with James. I think Brentford are going to give a lot of people a lot of headaches this season.
Ivan Toney's a top player. Ivan Toney has got to be the tall... someone said he's 5'10", 5'11". He's got to be the tallest 5'11" ever.
I'm 5'10", and there's no way I'm the same height as that fella.
Ivan Toney,
he's not 6'2", 6'3". He isn't as tall as he looks, and he wins a hell of a lot in there. But he's a good player on the ground
because he's athletic as anything. And also the thing about Ivan Toney, he's the tallest. He's the smallest. The tallest 5'10" player that you're ever going to see, and Luke Shaw is the smallest 6'1" player that you're ever going to see.
Yeah, no, he's a really good player. He's a really good player, and I think you're absolutely right. They'll give a lot of teams. I tweeted this after we'd drawn against them the other week. Like, I don't know that we'll look back and think that's a good point, but I don't think we'll look back at it and think it's a bad one because, they'll beat a lot of good teams. Looking forward to, watching their games because they're good fun to watch, aren't they? They have a go and the crowd's up for it. And
just remember that happened on the Manscaped ad read, lads. So, someone say the word balls or something so I can go into it. James, I'm looking at you here.
How are your balls, mate? Are they
bollocks?
Well, your balls?
They're absolutely great. Champions League style balls for tomorrow night. If you want to, go maybe carve the Champions League logo into your nuts or anything like that, if you're so inclined,
how would I do that? How would I do that, Craig?
I'll tell you how you could do it, Steve, and I'll tell you how you could do it at a discounted rate, mate, with free shipping. You or James or anybody else watching can get themselves over to manscaped.com and use our discount code. It's not Lord. I know you're all thinking it's Lord. It's not. It's WFM20. Free shipping, 20% off the all-new Performance Package 4.0, Steve. And, the spiel, your balls will thank you.
You can almost hear them now saying thank you.
That's what I was leaving. I was leaving the little pause there because the lads are screaming
that the voice
here.
Is that the voice of your book? Thank you.
I don't even know what the voice was.
I can breathe. Right, lads. I want to have a chat about Mo for a quick sec because another article out in the Telegraph today. So, semi-respectable, Steve. They've said that the Liverpool forward is now wanting 400 grand a week. It seems that this has gone up 20 grand a day.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
It probably should do. I mean, they said at the weekend it was 500 grand, so it's come down since the weekend.
It's the two world class.
Because he was in and around London, Steve. You seen the prices down there when he was out with Remy Abbas for that little bit of sushi, and he's like, "Hang on a minute, here, fucking 400 grand a week."
It's a slightly tricky one in a sense because there's a lot of me and there's a lot of Liverpool fans probably watching, a lot of people at home going, you just give the guy what he wants, but they do have to manage a dressing room too, don't they? And they do have to manage some pretty big players who will think they're probably owed a bit more if he's. I mean, 500. What is he on? 200 odd at the moment. 500 would seem.
I believe it's 200-ish plus bonus.
500 would seem a bit on the steep side to me. So
I can't see the owners giving that much money to anyone, to be honest. I think 350 with maybe some image rights tweaks or something.
And they probably shouldn't either. They probably shouldn't.
Yeah, 500 grand's a bit mad. 500 grand is way too mad, in my opinion.
It's mad though, but I think we're all saying this and we're all in agreement, but we'll also probably all acknowledge that he could probably get it elsewhere.
He's moved on to a different level, hasn't he? That's the thing. He's like the last. He was already on a pretty decent level, and he's just gone to another level. And well, we $1 million a week.
Maybe Steve, you could have a little word with the good folks in Sealand, or maybe we could get him a title if he's taken a few bob. Maybe he could become Lord Mohammed Salah.
Well, Jibril Cisse got. What was he, Lord of the Manor of Frodsham or something?
Yeah, I think he can walk his sheep or have them graze in the local pasture, can't he?
See if we can sort out Mo with some sort of title, a bit of aristocracy.
He's already the king. You know what I mean? He's already the Egyptian king. So
no, look, he's worth the. It's hard to put a figure on it, isn't it? But he's pretty much worth whatever he asks for until it gets into really silly.
I think he's played a blinder with his agent here, though, and allowing Alisson, Van Dijk, all these other lads to extend their deals before him.
His agent's a bit of a dick, let's be honest, isn't he? Some of the stuff he comes out with on social media, he's a bit of a.
He's a bit snidey for no reason at times.
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm not so sure. I like a lot of the stuff he comes out with, but I guess he's just doing a job. He'll claim he's doing a job for his client, but I'd rather agents.
They're at a point, James, though, where Alisson's extended, Van Dijk's extended, both fullbacks have extended, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott. So who's going to get upset about it? That's kind of where I'd be going with it, because other than Bobby and Sadio, there's nobody really left to renew that hasn't extended their deals.
Are you ready for some tough love for all the boys that I absolutely love?
You broke my heart last week, mate, about fucking about Jude Bellingham. I haven't been able to sleep since. Go on, you're going to do it again, aren't you?
Call me Shawn Michaels because I'm the heartbreak kid. Nah, listen, I'm going to say this now. No one...
Sexy boy.
Sexy boy! Amazing. But like,
time.
with these, I just think, no, it's not a case of who is going to be upset. It's a case of you should not be upset. Because everyone has had an equal part in terms of bringing the success to the team when it comes to on the pitch. Virgil van Dijk, he's had there was one season where we were all saying he's the most important. Alisson's had his moments of that. Mane, even though he never signed a new contract, but out of the new contract, Trent, Robbo. But Salah brings off the pitch what they just don't. And at the end of the day, Salah knows this. And Salah knows that, Liverpool fans adore him, especially right now. So I made a joke before, but it genuinely could be true. Like, after the goal against Man City, 20 grand more, from 320 to 350. And then another one against Watford, bam, let's just bump that up to 400. Like...
I'll Klopp's benching them tomorrow then.
You know what? Maybe they all should
FSG
be upset.
down as he had, but you got to bench him, man. He's doing too good.
You know what? Maybe they all should be upset. Maybe they all should be upset because, and like not in a bad way, in a way that they go, I fancy a piece of that. This club's going to pay me a lot of money if I really, really, really turn it on. If I go to the next level like he's done, they're going to reward me. It's an incentive to some players. Some players will see it as a big incentive, won't they? They'll see a club that is willing to reward a player that takes it up to the next level. And I think that's the way. That's
got to be the MO, though, hasn't it? Since the owners have come in, they have said, do well, we'll reward you.
Yeah, and if you have good characters in the dressing room, that's the way it will work. It's when you haven't got good characters and you've got people that just get jealous, who don't want to put the work in, who think they're entitled to money without performing on the pitch. That's when you get the problems, I think. So I think, realistically, they're probably going to be content with their 250 a week, aren't they? If he's gone on to 350, they're probably going to cope.
No, we'll do a whip round for them, lads.
They're probably
still got dough in it. You know what I mean? They've still been paid nicely, I'm assuming. So
yeah.
Did you see, James, yesterday there was an article out saying that Real Madrid want to offer Hazard plus cash for Mohamed Salah? So apparently we're going to ditch somebody we're worried about his age for an older fella who probably wants as much money, who's nowhere near as good as the lad that they want. I mean, let's
entertain if this was true, because we obviously know it's bollocks. But let's just say if it was true, that's the funniest thing I've heard all year. You're telling me that I want to peak Mo Salah over I want a fat Hazard over a peak Mo Salah? No. And listen, if he wants to eat his beef burgers, by all means, fucking hell, lad, you're a person. You live once, do what you want to do. You know what I mean? You've dominated the Premier League. I'm not even putting Hazard down for being fat. But he is, and I don't want that. We're going for Premier League. We're going for Champions Leagues. And be all and end all, Salah's well better. Hazard, who's talking about Hazard? People talk more about Thorgan Hazard from Dortmund than they do Eden Hazard, unless it's about his fucking belly. So, no, I don't want Hazard. I feel like he's never done what Salah's doing in the league.
I feel like every time we play a Spanish team, this shithousery starts from the media. Like
it does. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is.
Do you know what's going to get? So, the thing people know about Liverpool is because we don't actually have much legit news. It's like, we'll get them excited about something.
I know where James is going. Like, I know it's chuckles for saying fat Hazard and all this stuff. But look, pushing that aside, he does and has shown up for pre-season many kilograms overweight. And that, I'm not judging him for his weight, but I'm saying the mindset of somebody, if you get your move, and he always said the only club he'd leave Chelsea for was Real Madrid. If you get that dream move, you're going to make sure that you're in the right headspace, the right physical condition. You're going to show up for pre-season saying, like Ronaldo would have, or like Salah would have, I'm going to come in and show this dressing room why they pay that money for me and why they all have to get up to my standards. I don't see that with Hazard, Steve, and that's why I don't respect him as much as I would other footballers.
Yeah, even when he was peak, Eden Hazard, he still was possibly carrying a bit more than he should. I mean, look, he's had a lot of injuries, hasn't he? We know injuries.
Yeah,
you restrict the amount of training you can do. Probably is not the only one that maybe lets the lifestyle go a little bit when he's not training as hard. So. He's a phenomenal footballer, isn't he? Like when he's fit and when he's on it, he's as good as anybody. But it isn't even, what's he, 31 now?
31. Oh, Palace 2-1 up.
Shut up. Shut
Oh,
up.
word.
2-1 up.
Wow. I'm behind. What minute's that, Craig?
72 and a half.
Yeah, they're on the counter
When do we
attack
play
now.
Arsenal? I want to play Arsenal soon.
Oh
my
God!
days.
I just had to soak this in. One
Oh
second.
my days.
Saka
listen, talking
dispossessed up in the Crystal Palace half. Gallagher then on the counter attack, little ball inside.
Hey, I
They
like
move it
that Conor
across.
Gallagher, by the way. He looks a
Yeah,
really
he's
good
good. He's
player.
a Chelsea boy.
Oh
though,
yeah,
isn't he?
he's done well against us. I thought he's done well against us when we played them at Anfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a tidy player, all right, definitely.
Chelsea on
Yeah,
loan
good
in
counter
it,
attack.
or on loan
Yeah,
from
looks-
Chelsea.
Yeah, he's on loan. I love, by the way, while we're talking about Chelsea players on loan, did you guys hear Daniel Farke's comments about Billy Gilmore? Is that my job's not to improve other players for different teams? Like, my job as a coach not to improve other clubs' players. Basically saying,
respect that.
fuck you, I'll pick
Yeah.
them if I want them. I do as well. I love it.
Are you fucking mad? He's 20th in the Premier League. He has every right to say, it's like, I've got bigger shit to deal with than some fucking kid's career for a season. He's not even going to be here next year. So yeah, right now I will do what's best for my team. That's what I want my manager to be
It
saying.
really made me think about the whole loan system, actually. And again, I never really looked at it from the point of view, Steve, of, oh, we will bestow you with one of our youngsters. You should be very welcome and all. Like, I never really thought about it from that perspective of,
Oh my
of
God,
Daniel
hey, Patrick
Farke.
Vieira fully celebrated. I just want to say, like, Patrick Vieira's just celebrated.
Good lad. Good lad.
If
Good lad.
Gerrard, this is a question. I know that I'm interrupting conversation. If Gerrard celebrated, say if he went to Newcastle and scored, and he celebrated, I'm not saying we'd still
honestly,
love him, but like,
I think I'd probably be
I
like
love him a little bit less. I won't lie, James. I love him a little bit less.
Yeah,
Just
just
a little
it's
bit.
just
Would you expect if Everton score against us in December? Would you expect Rafa to not celebrate? I hate this idea of not.
Rafa doesn't
celebrating.
celebrate anyway.
It won't happen,
Well,
Steve,
no,
so
yeah,
it doesn't
fair-
matter.
Fair point. But I hate the non-celebration thing, particularly like you get it now when a player like Jesse Lingard didn't celebrate against West Ham. You know, you played for them for like about 4 months. Like you haven't like if you play for a team for 10, 20 years, then fine. You know, but not like that. I just think that's just nonsense and you're disrespecting the team you play for more than anything.
Arsenal have a free kick here in a good position to try and grab one back. So let's.
Hey, listen,
see if I can
talking
come
of
to
terrible football teams,
Oots and Edward with the goal, by the way. Go on, Steve.
talking of terrible football teams, what are we thinking about this weekend?
The one just gone, United.
Another
get
one
their
coming.
asses
Another one coming up.
Yeah, that's look. I'm almost afraid to be too confident around it, Steve, because I've lived long enough to have seen us go to Old Trafford when they're dominating in the league and us throwing a spanner in the works. And if United want to try and get a little bit more patience back from their fans, this is the one, isn't it? This is the game that buys everyone a little bit of breathing room. That being said, we should still spank them.
I can see him. He's going to load up with McTominay, Fred, Matic, and just try and spoil it, isn't he? I suspect they won't. They're not going to chuck in Pogba and Bruno and Ronaldo and Greenwood and everyone again like they did at the weekend. And just get
not
taken apart.
Not until they're 1 or 2-0 down with the clock ticking.
No, because Leicester could have been
usual.
out of sight, couldn't they? Really?
Did you watch the game, lads? The Leicester United game?
I watched
it, and I looked at it going, we're much better than both of these teams.
Yeah.
Well, if United play the way they have done all season, and I mean every game this season, including the ones that they won, we'll beat them. We will, because the quality just isn't there. When I say the quality, I mean the quality in system, not necessarily the individuals. Because even the individuals, it's all right to have a limited edition bus, and it's the greatest bus. It's so easy to drive, but if you get a fucker who doesn't know how to drive a fucking bus, then how the hell do you expect any results to get from A to B? You can't expect that, can you, Steve?
I love that.
You can't, can you, mate?
I love that analogy. It's so perfect. Perfect. You know what? If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer left United tomorrow, he walks into a bottom of the Premier League job,
Fits
or
it
bottom,
like a jigsaw.
bottom third job. There isn't.
Salford City, that's all. He's done to Salford City. Gary Neville's going to give him a gig.
Gary Neville wouldn't even do it. Gary Neville's only sweet with him because he's the manager of Man United. The second he leaves, they'll all be finished. Like, Ole who? Nah, listen, the thing about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he is the worst manager in the league. The worst.
You're not going to get an argument from me, James. I agree.
He's worse than Steve Bruce. Like, he's actually, like, he would not keep Newcastle up. He couldn't even keep Cardiff up. What
I'd say at
No,
least
mate,
he
I'm entirely
has
with you.
some tactics. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics are let's throw on as many good. And look, there was a good piece about this where they spoke about the great teams over the years, and at most 4 attacking players on the pitch. At most, with United now, it's 5 attacking players sometimes, or and I think most teams probably 3 attacking players. Like Liverpool, we have 3 out and out attacking players and midfielders who I won't say are water carriers, but put shift in. We don't get a lot.
Yeah.
Attack from midfield. So
they're missing 2 things. They're missing they're missing a few things, but 2 main things that go into every single winning team are leaders, and they haven't got any leaders, and they haven't got an identity either. Like, you don't know how they're going to play, do you? Like, you know how Liverpool are going to play. Like, you know how City will play. You know how Chelsea under Tuchel are going to play. You haven't got any clue how United are going to play. You don't know what formation they're going to use.
Brilliant, isn't it? Really, like,
something
happens.
They're a collection of players that rely on a couple of moments from good players to bail them out of trouble. That's all they are, and they'll win games because they've got Ronaldo and they've got Sancho and they've got Greenwood and they've got Rashford and they've got Pogba and they've got Bruno and they've got Martial. They got some good play, and they got Varane and they got some good players. But
they also have Harry Maguire.
My word. Like, they're just not a team, though, are they? They're just not a team.
I came back and heard Harry Maguire and I'm out.
World's most expensive defender. I can never tire of saying those words.
Mate, have you seen him in interviews?
Dog shite.
You look at our team has got about 6 or 7 people that could genuinely be captain of that team. Like, and you wouldn't even be too bothered with it. They're leaders, properly. They talk. They lead. I saw Jordan. I remember watching a game, I don't know, 10 years ago at Anfield. We played Wolves, and Sissoko was at left back. Do you remember Ali Sissoko? Absolutely awful. He's playing left back, and Jordan Henderson must have only been 20, 21, 22, whatever. He just joined, and he was talking the whole game. And I remember watching him. So I, at the time, was playing a lot of football, played centre midfield, and I watched him as talking the whole game. And I'm just thinking, that is a leader. And our team has got 7 or 8 players. You look at like Milner, Van Dijk, Alisson, Henderson, Trent, Salah, Firmino. They could all Fabinho. They could all be captain. Andy Robertson. You've got the captain of Scotland in there. United haven't even got one. They haven't even got one. Who's a good captain.
Yeah, Pogba. I mean,
shambles.
Even Pogba. Like, some people, like, I think Pogba's actually a good leader. It's just hard for him to play in that system when he's being played as a CDM. Like, I understand that people expect more from him because he's Paul Pogba, but like, he is a more offensive player. If you let him play a little bit more freely, then you get more results. I think he's maybe him, David De Gea.
At what point, lads, do we actually start calling out Bruno Fernandes for being a whiny little bitch? He's always at it.
He's the mouthy fella of the he's the Diego Costa. He's the Luis Suarez. Not as bad, but like similar.
But he just has a face that looks like he's sulking all the time, James. To me.
Yeah, he's sulking now. He's sulking now because his Portuguese mate's coming and taking all the penalties and free kicks and limelight off him. Like, you can see it a mile off. He doesn't. The Bruno for
Here's
Portugal.
Here's a question for you, lads. Do you think Ronaldo will leave if United get knocked out or don't do well in the Champions? Let's say they don't qualify next season. And I think I put this question to the lads the other night as well. I can't see a situation where Ronaldo stays at United. I don't think his ego would allow him to play in the Europa League.
I think United's his last club. I think
he's being paid a lot of money, and if United want to keep him, they'll keep him.
I just think it's his last club. I don't really keep.
Well, Steve, are you saying that because maybe that's the story? The story is he starts at United. That's where he really builds his name as one of the best in the world. Then he goes to Madrid, all that, does well, and then he goes back to United. Do you think you're thinking that because that should be the story, or
hasn't he said that he wants to finish up at Sporting, or is that just waffle?
Oh no, you may be right.
Possibly.
Right. He wants to get his 100 meter sprint record back.
I don't think he'd
who's the young lad we brought in that beat that record? It's young centre back we brought in from Sporting.
He went to Reading, didn't he?
Yeah, I can't think of his name now.
Andre Wisdom.
No. This guy was. He was over in Sporting. We brought him across. He was somebody in the chat will let us know.
Thiago Ilori.
There you go. That's the one. He nicked Ronaldo's sprint record off him.
We had a couple from Sporting, didn't we? Do you remember that? There was
Sebastian Coates.
There was that other who am I thinking? The other Portuguese midfielder.
The guy that went back. He went back to Sporting, didn't he? The young lad recently.
No. I'm thinking about. I know who you mean. The one he played right back a few times, but he was a winger, wasn't he? But I'm thinking of. Give me a sec. You two carry on.
What position are we talking, Steve?
Jordan Lamb?
He was like an attacking midfielder, like a number 10.
When about did he play?
Zhao something.
Zhao Teixeira. Yeah. He came through our academy.
Yeah, but he came from Sporting or Porto, didn't he? One of the two.
Oh, into our academy, like into our under 23s, yeah.
And of all the youngsters we did bring in from Sporting, we didn't cough up to 10 or 11 million for the one that would have really put the mustard. I'll never forget that time when I read that Liverpool's board didn't think Ronaldo was, or an 18-year-old was worth 10 or 11 million quid.
A lot of money back then.
Yeah, it was, absolutely a lot of money back then. But little did we know, a lot of footballer as well. On that though, look, I can give you 50 reasons why we should beat Manchester United on Sunday, but I know we're starting from -1 in this game because they're going to get a poxy penalty or something. I think Parsons the referee, by the way, for this game, I believe.
Excellent. Great stuff. Yeah. I can see if they play the way they've played and we play the way we've played, we'll win. We will. It's just, will that happen? Because as you've just said, Craig, on a day like this, on a match like that, you just don't know what can happen. They could turn up. All you're going to show the man who's great at saving his job. These are the type of games where he actually gets his team to turn up for some reason. So we'll see. It remains to be seen, but I think we'll win the game.
Talk of another protest, Steve, as well ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Obviously, I fully support fans' right to protest against their owners or whatever they like to protest against if it's done in the right manner. Absolutely. I just hope we don't get a scenario where it impacts the game. Other than that,
it'll be as big as last time.
No, it can't be. I think there was a lot of goodwill. There was a lot of goodwill lost over the last one because a lot of people, I think, thought fine to protest, but don't do it to the point where the game gets called off. That took it.
Also, United will have the precautions necessary because they tried to do another protest after that one, but United they had that boxed off, like they actually sorted out the situation. So now that they'll have that in mind, they won't even let it happen.
Ronaldo goodwill didn't last too long, did it?
Hey,
Ronaldo goodwill didn't last too long.
Well, a lot of people said when he joined. A lot of people said, it's not like an absolute shoo-in. He's not the player that he was 6, 7, 8 years, even 2 or 3 years ago. And I'm torn because like James says, like over that, like it's unquestionable. If we play the way we're playing and they play the way they're playing, we'll win. Like no question, and we'll win by 2 or 3 as well. But do you remember? I always think of this game. Do you remember that game where David and Gog scored the second goal and Pepe Reina ran the length of the pitch and was the first one on his back in front of the cop?
Yeah.
If you think about before that game, we were awful. That was a Christian Poulsen, the Paul Konchesky. That was around that kind of time. We were awful. And we beat them 2-0. Yeah, we beat them 2-0. Paul Scholes, Michael Carrick, like this really good United side. So it can happen. It can happen, can't it? And but I think if we match them for work rate and we're a better team, we should win that game.
Hey boys, someone's just said in the chat, would you do Ronaldo as a player manager if you were a United fan? Like, thank God.
No.
I think they would. I reckon they would.
The fans would be all on board, though. Let's be honest, Craig. The fans would be on that. They'd be like, yeah, because it's Ronaldo. They'll just believe it.
They love a PR. And the Glazers love a PR exercise, don't they? Love a thing that will try and get the fans on side.
Well, imagine if they can do like another Ronaldo announcement. Now the player manager and get 20 million likes on fucking. Oh my days. Oh.
Arsenal just rattled the bar.
Oh my goodness.
In that game, 87 minutes.
Well, they do Instagram videos when he goes to the shops and when he puts his boots on in the morning, and even United fans that I know, they're like, just give it a rest.
Yeah, it's It is an odd one, all right. Look, there's a little bit of a transfer story again. I know we've been speaking a lot about young Adeyemi at Salzburg over the past few months, and again, just a bit of reiteration here that it seems that Bayern Munich are in talks with the guys' representatives, which kind of plays into what I've read and heard him saying. Yeah, I've seen Dortmund linked with him as well, but I just get the vibes that this kid wants to go to Germany, wants to go back to Germany for his next move. So as good as he looks, James, and I know me and you've spoken about him before, mate, I just get the feeling he's going to end up in Germany.
Well, that's Liverpool's fault if he does, because even if he wants to go there, Liverpool can't offer the money, because you've got to bear in mind, even though Bayern have money and they don't offer mad crazy wages over in Germany. Even if he goes to Dortmund, he's not going to get that. So if Liverpool can give him a plan, pitch it to him, for fuck's sake. The kid's 19. It's not going to be hard to pitch it to him and his agent. The agent has him at Salzburg. Just if you give them a good pitch and you offer them the right story of what's going to go down, then listen, I don't see why it can't happen. And obviously the right wages. If you really want to play that bad, you can go out and get them. And that's the thing about Liverpool. I think there's a few targets where we just haven't been ruthless enough on them. And even though there's somewhere we've done great business, I just think that's one that, not that it'll be a terrible miss, but what if he goes well and smashes it at Dortmund? It's just going to be a home that, we should have signed Adeyemi, and I think we should. I said we should have signed Haaland. I bet we all wish we fucking signed Haaland and tried to throw every penny that we could at it, but that's the only. If I didn't think he was a good player, I wouldn't care. Do you know, I'm not just jumping on the bandwagon because he's 19 and he's young. There's plenty of them. It's just, I actually believe in this Liverpool team, he could do a very, very good job. But if we don't get him, get Ivan Toney.
I think Jeremy Doku's nailed on, lads. The more I read about it, if I'm being entirely honest, I think that transfer is nailed.
He suits our system. He suits our system brilliantly.
Somebody, Steve, that we've been looking at for 4 years anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said this to you, Craig, before. Like, Jeremy Doku isn't the player that we need for me. Like, we need a number 9, like a different option, like a proper, stand up against the centre backs. Number 9, because Jota, Salah, Mane, even Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, they can all play wide.
Yeah, is Toney good enough, Steve? What? Do you think Ivan Toney would be good enough?
Yeah,
I would admit I haven't seen enough of him to really make a judgment call.
I genuinely believe that he's one of them that we see it in other countries a lot more than we do it here, where the big teams will pluck off a reasonably unheralded player, won't they? And then we just don't really see it over here because, teams like Brentford in our country tend to, want about, 700 million for someone who's pretty average. But, I think he's a really good player. Looks like he's got a really good work ethic, works hard, wins a lot of balls in the air, but he's not just a target man. He's not, like we said, he's not that tall, but he's quick. He's good with his feet.
Liverpool fan.
We're always up against it.
There we go.
Your young German players, you're always starting from a sort of 30-70 position, aren't you? Like, you're 2 goals down already when Bayern Munich and Dortmund are after a young German player. You've got to make. I mean, the pitch and the money has got to be the thing, because they all fancy a bit of Dortmund or a bit of Bayern Munich.
James, there was a question here in the chat that I wanted to put to you, buddy. Would you rather Salah or Klopp sign a new 5-year deal? It's an interesting question when you actually really start thinking about it.
Yeah. Right. So, by the way, someone's just said that. I look bored in the chat. Absolutely not the case. One, I'm a little bit, very, very tired, but that's not even the point as well. My phone is being absolutely going off. Me man keeps messaging me, telling her to go outside to help her with the shopping. Even, you go shopping at this time? How the fuck are the shops even open? Do you know what I mean? Crazy bastard. But...
Mammy's always right, James. Don't argue with Mammy.
Nah,
and I mean that sincerely. Mammy knows best.
No, absolutely. The 5-year thing, sorry, what was that? Klopp getting a 5-year contract?
Klopp or Salah, if you had to pick one of them to get a 5-year deal.
Now.
It's a horrible question, I know, but...
Now.
Right now, yeah. Tomorrow, somebody signs, new deal, 5 years.
Okay, so that means if I choose Klopp, for example, Salah will run out by the time his contract ends, and same vice versa.
Because I've been thinking about this one while James is thinking there, Steve, because, you wonder, is it one of the reasons why maybe Salah is taking his time about extending because he knows the gaffer's only signed up to 2024, and I wonder how much this plays into people's thinking around this type of thing. So it's a good question.
I wouldn't. Well, yeah, but I wouldn't.
That's a phenomenal question.
It's a phenomenal question in one way, but it's like
it's also horrendous in another.
Nah, I'm gonna go with Klopp.
I'd go with Klopp as well.
The Klopp
every day of the week. I mean, that's nothing against Mo Salah because we all love him, but like 5 years more of 5 more years of Jurgen Klopp.
I'm not doing it. I'm cheating. Both.
We all want both. Absolutely, that should be.
Can both of them get a 2.5-year deal?
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Let me phrase it a different way. Another thing I read, I think it might have been either on the Athletic or somewhere else, where there was talk about. So Klopp wants a year break. There's talk that if he finishes up in 2024, he's going to have a year break before he goes into any other gig. Is there anything to be said, lads, for giving Pep Linders the gig for 1 year if Klopp really just wanted 1 year off and bringing him back in?
Yes. Daniel Bryan's settings, 100%. Boys, we need. Do you know this Klopp era? Do you like what we've done with Shankly and all that? Bob Paisley, Fagan. That again, please, because Klopp, he literally is the epitome of what they brought. Like, this club was built on Shankly, and then Klopp came in, and he was similar in so many different ways. He brought life back into this club. We don't like Rafa was amazing for what he done at the club, but he has done merely a footnote to what Jurgen Klopp has, and I mean that with the most respect to the achievements that he achieved. But Jurgen Klopp has done a madness, and I just believe if you do give him like a new deal or whatever, you're talking about the great. By the time he looks back, he could be one of, if not the greatest Premier League. It's going to be hard to go above Sir Alex, but they're in that conversation. Do you get what I'm saying? I'd love to do that. I'd love to see if Pep Linders should give it a go as well. I'm sure he could.
It's a tough one though, Steve, isn't it? Because one, if you're a Klopp, can you really switch off for that year? Do you know what I mean? Can you just put your phone down and not look at it? And what if Pep Linders went and won the league, as an example? Do you then say to him, cheers, fella, but it's back to number 2 for you?
Klopp back and then just have them too.
We're talking a lot of hypotheticals, aren't we? We're saying, if Klopp wants a year off in 3 years' time, and then if this and this and if this, who knows? I mean,
fun with it, Steve.
Well, we've said about Mohamed Salah, if you're going to break a structure or do something unusual for a player, do it for him. And I would wonder, I would make the same argument for a manager, for Jurgen Klopp. If he's 100%. Adamant he needs a year, give it to him. 2-2.
Who scored?
Lacazette, 94 minutes and 40 seconds of 4 minutes minimum additional time, and Vieira's head is in his hands. I mean,
that's what he gets for celebrating.
Arsenal fans going to be celebrating. Look, they're celebrating like they've won the fucking league. They've just drawn at home to Palace.
You can still celebrate a last-minute equaliser. I'd do the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can, but
better than a loss.
Anyway, back to the quick hypothetical. Do you think?
Hey, look, I'm totally. Look, I mean, you. If there was any way of signing Jurgen Klopp up for another 20 years, you'd do it tomorrow, wouldn't you? Like you would. Of course. You would literally. There is not another manager that you would ever want, like, until he doesn't want to be a manager anymore. That's it. You've got to be able to be respectful of his wishes, I guess. It's pretty intense managing Liverpool, isn't it? Especially when you're as intense as he is. It's pretty intense. And I think
you see managers age very quickly at the top level in the Premier League.
You do. The pressure's massive, especially for someone like him that lives and breathes it. Like, he feels it, doesn't he? Like, he's different. Guys like Pep are the same. Pep will need a break at some point. He won't be. It'll only be 2 more years at City, won't he? Probably, and then he'll have another, year or two off. They need to recharge their batteries, these lads, and we're just enjoying while we've got him and hope it lasts for as long as it can.
True. James, tomorrow, mate, we're obviously doing the watch along here on Anfield Agenda. You doing a watch along for the game tomorrow?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Nice one. So if people want content tomorrow, you've got James and James Redmond TV doing a watch along. Us at Anfield Agenda. Post-match stuff as well. Steve's just going to chill and relax. It must be nice, mate, actually be able to hear the game. It must be really nice. I can't remember the last time I heard a Liverpool game.
Yeah. It depends who's on comms. If it's Glenn Hoddle, I'll probably have it turned off anyway.
It's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good one. And look, I will be back with James on Thursday again for another one, and it'll be the three of us again on Monday. But I want to say a massive thank you to Steve and to James again for giving up their evening, and to you guys at home for watching. Steve, again, congratulations once again for that marathon run, mate. I'm extremely proud of you, because I like to think I ran a little bit of that marathon. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you didn't. You didn't.
I absolutely didn't.
No, but look,
Steve did not do the final miles. Absolutely dying for you to just say that I done a little bit of that marathon. I hear you, Steve.
Craig, thank you for your donation on behalf of the channel. Though it's we're up to like nearly $6,000 from Macmillan cancer support now.
Couldn't think of a better
charity.
So
we've made a lot of done a lot of good with that. So yeah, thank you very much.
And Mr. Redmond, what have you got coming up, my man? And I'm doing a watch along tomorrow, some post-match stuff as well.
Funnily enough, I'm doing a stream right now on my channel, doing a little rival watch. So if you want to come and tune into that, by all means.
Boom. Love it. Make sure you go over, hit that subscribe button, drop a like on his videos as well, ladies and gents. It's been another great show. And thank you to the guys, and thank you to you guys for watching. And let's all go and look forward to the game tomorrow. Talk to you guys soon. Take care.